Every single person who has ever bullied me, I don't think that they deserve to live or to breathe. And that includes every single person on ED Twitter who has bullied me or mentioned me or reposted anything of mine. All of you, I personally think you should. So now I'm not gonna support you. Cool. Guess what? Newsflash, I do not give two f***s if you support me or not.
TikTok is a wild place, a digital circus where the weird, the wonderful, and the downright unhinged fight for a few seconds of your attention. And in the middle of this madness stands Marissa Matthews, a creator who brings more than enough chaos for the entire platform. Hailing from Ottawa, Canada, a city that somehow also birthed foodie beauty, Marissa quickly made a name for herself, not for her jewelry, not for her art, but for her sermons on body acceptance and positivity. On paper, it sounds noble, a rallying cry for self-love in a world obsessed with unattainable standards. But in practice, the message often boils down to this: if you don't like fat people, you're fat-phobic, trash, and you deserve the absolute worst life can throw at you. Nuance? She's never heard of it. Marissa crowned herself a warrior for fat activism, body positivity, and gave herself the unfiltered right to tell you that your opinion is garbage unless it explicitly mirrors hers.
You Trudeau. Everybody. Today.
As righteous as her mission might seem in a TikTok bio or an Instagram caption, the reality is a lot messier. Somewhere between the preaching and the screeching, the mission got lost, sucked into a whirlpool of entitlement, cringe, and pure unhinged chaos. What started as empowerment morphed into antagonism, turning Marissa into one of the most polarizing, if not the most hated, fat activists on TikTok. With over 5.5 million likes, 4 million in just her first year alone, Marissa didn't just join TikTok, she bulldozed through it like a bull in a china shop. Body positivity, according to her, is not a buffet everyone's invited to. It's her domain, her battlefield, and if you're not in her weight class, you're just an intruder. She's loud, she's proud, and she delivers all educate you energy with the warmth of a Tim Hortons tantrum and the grace of a middle finger. Her fans worship her for sticking it to fat phobia, while her critics see nothing but a walking, yelling victim complex, the human embodiment of every cringe compilation you've ever hate-watched at 2 a.m.
So I sent that last night. I wake up, he read it, but didn't say anything. So I type, nothing? Not even 2 minutes later, he deletes me. Aww. Poor little boy child who doesn't know how to handle an independent woman who knows her worth. And because I'm a petty motherfucker, I messaged this one.
But here's the thing. Marissa isn't some polished influencer selling self-love and pastel packaging. Her Ottawa upbringing didn't create a role model, it created a fighter, and not the inspiring kind. She stormed into the fat activism space, not to share it, but to gatekeep it, shutting the doors on anyone she felt didn't belong. Along the way, she juggled a side hustle selling jewelry and doodles, bragged about betting 4 guys in a week to break stereotypes, then turned around and played the oppression card when TikTok clapped back by banning her for telling haters to die. Oh, and let's not forget her mom, ready to threaten lawsuits faster than you can say defamation.
Hi guys. So there's this stereotype and stigma when it comes to fat people about not being desired or romantically. And this is a stereotype. I have talked about this before. I have talked about my active bedroom life. And like, for example, this week, 4 different guys. Next week, I've got 2 on the line. And like, when I talk about this, a lot of people are like, well, it's not right to brag about all these one-night stands you're having. And one thing that I don't think that people comprehend, because it goes along with the stigma that fat people are not desirable, is that all of these people that I saw this week and that I'm going to see next week are not one-night stands. These are guys who I have relations with.
By 2023, the walls were closing in. Multiple bans, a bleeding follower count, a privatized account, and a reputation in free fall. Marissa's empire wasn't just crumbling, it was imploding. But if you asked her, none of it was her fault. It was the algorithm. It was the haters. It was society. It was anything except her own endless stream of venom. She's a TikTok preacher who can't stop cursing out the choir, a boundary queen who flips tables when her own aren't respected. From meltdowns at service counters to dating app disasters, Marissa's saga is less a journey of growth and more a masterclass in self-destruction. And today we're diving deep into it all. The rise, the rants, the inevitable reckoning. This is Marissa Matthews, raw, unfiltered, and unraveling before our eyes. And trust me, once you start watching, you won't be able to look away. Marissa's story is one with a lot of different small to large controversial moments. Many include calling out guys that have tried to have a relationship with a big, strong, independent white woman from Canada. You already see how that is a lot. But yeah, the heart wants what it wants. Without further ado, let's now dive into the extra juicy details.
I don't give two f***s. I do not care if their original comment was fatphobic anymore. You know what I care about? The fact that I blocked them and I said no to them, and then they created multiple accounts to continue talking to me and
So Marissa Matthews didn't just stumble into TikTok stardom. She crashed through the door like a caffeinated wrecking ball. Picture this. It's 2020. The world's a mess, and here's this auto chick barely out of her mid-20s filming herself in what looks like a basement lair. No makeup tutorials, no dance challenges, just raw, unfiltered Marissa, sipping Tim Hortons and grumbling about life. She's not your typical influencer glow-up story, and that's the point. Before the bans, the blow-ups, and the whole I'm a victim circus, Marissa was just a regular nobody with a phone and a grudge. And honestly, that's where the magic started.
Is that people not always know that fat shaming happens, or that fat shaming can follow through and become discrimination and fat.
And her pre-TikTok life isn't some epic saga. She's not pulling a rags to riches arc here. She's from Ottawa, Canada's capital of bureaucracy, where the most exciting thing is usually a parliamentary debate about maple syrup tariffs. There's no fancy job, no corner office vibes. She's a self-proclaimed artist, peddling handmade jewelry and doodles online. Like an Etsy hustle, but make it chaotic. She's got no 9-to-5 grind, just a general vibe of, I'm too tired to cook, past the Tims. She's open about her depression, drops it in casually like it's no big deal, and that rawness, it's what pulls people in. Before the algorithm crowned her, Marissa's just a fat girl with a chip on her shoulder, and she's not afraid to show it. If you enter the TikTok setting in 2020, the app's blowing up, and Marissa sees her shot. Her earliest videos, while seem messy and unpolished, were actually kind of brilliant. She's not out here lip-syncing to Dua Lipa's latest hit. She's staring down the camera, spitting truths about being fat in a world that hates it, making statements like, I'm not your before picture. She snaps and bam, people vibe with her just like that. She's not preachy yet, she's just real. She'll vent about trolls, flex her art, or grumble about her day, all with this sarcastic edge that's like daring her fans and other viewers to hate her. And guess what? They don't. By early 2021, she's clocking 4 million likes. 4 million! And her follower count's spiking faster than a sugar rush. It wasn't a fluke or anything like luck. It was looking like a takeover. Here's where it gets juicy. Marissa didn't just want to ride the body positivity wave, she's hijacking it. She's not here to hug it out with skinny girls crying over stretch marks and the other small skinny girl problem. She's gatekeeping hard. This movement's mine, she's basically saying to the other girls. And her fans? They're here for it. She's preaching fat activism like it's gospel, calling out systemic fat phobia, citing instances where doctors are dismissing her. Clothes are not fitting, just the usual crap that fat folks deal with. It's relatable as hell if you're in her shoes, and she's got this fire that's magnetic. She's not asking for permission, she's demanding space, and TikTok's handing it over on a platter. By March 2021, she's now a name, a force, a frickin' phenomenon. Now let's talk a little about the Marissa vibe, because this is where she locks in her crown. She's not your regular soft-spoken activist with some pastel aesthetic. No. She's loud, crass, and dripping with condescension. She's like a teacher who hates her students but really loves the paycheck. She'll hop on a video and say stuff like, I'm here to educate you, then proceed to drop an F-bomb and a smirk. It's not a subtle hit, it's a sledgehammer of a hit.
And it's just so funny how ignorant skinny people are. Like, the influencer made a mistake educated herself, yet so many people in the comment section are still not getting it. Like, this who I'm arguing with, she's making all the regular fat-phobic assumptions that all.
She's also got this mix of I'm oppressed and you are dumb for not knowing that, or even if you disagree in the slightest, and it's a total power move, but her fans call her bold, while her haters call her a bully. Either way, it's working. Her comments are a war zone of "Yas Queen" and "Who hurt you?" and she's thriving in the chaos. This persona, it's gold. She's unapologetic, fat and proud, she says, and you better believe it. She's not begging for acceptance. No, none of that. If anything, she's daring you to reject her, daring you to say she's making you uncomfortable or that you do not agree with all of her ideas and ridiculous takes on how fat people should be treated, so she can pounce on you and hamper you with allegations of fat phobia. In one clip, she's ranting about a nurse who told her to eat less fatty foods. Her response? It's like a child throwing a tantrum. F off, I know my body, and it's viral in just a few hours. Another, she's mocking skinny girls and body positivity hashtags. This ain't for you, and the likes pour in. She's got this sarcastic drawl, like she's half joking, half ready to fight, and it's catnip for TikTok's drama-hungry crowd. By mid-2021, she's not just a creator, she's a brand, a loudmouth legend with a following that's eating right out of her hand. But she's not all rants, though. Let's give her some credit. Marissa's art hustle is still in the mix. Here, jewelry, sketches, chunky necklaces she hawks online. It's a side gig, sure, but it's her flex. She says that it proves that she's more than her size, to mean that there is more to her than just being fat, which seems like a fair thing to say. After all, fat people are still humans with a complex life that didn't revolve all around food. She'll post a doodle, bask in the praise, but then snap if you critique it, saying that she didn't ask you. It's this weird blend of vulnerability and venom that keeps her human, as she's not just a shouting head, and her fat activism, it's sharpening. Over time, it became less venting and more preaching. She's calling out brands, society, healthcare professionals, you name it. Fat people deserve better, and her fans are nodding like it's Sunday morning sermon at a church. She's not wrong half the time, she's just so insufferable about it. This is Marissa at her peak, the early TikTok days when she's raw, real, and riding high. She's not yet polished, she's not perfect, but she's got a spark that's lighting up the app. Her story is about a fat girl from Ottawa who turned her anger into a megaphone, and for a hot minute it was working. But here's the thing about takeovers, they don't last forever. Marissa was building an empire, sure, but the cracks are already there at the beginning. She's loud, she's proud, and she's about to get messy. Stick around, because this is where the chaos really kicks off. So after Marissa Matthews hit TikTok like a hurricane in the pre-COVID era with 4 million likes, fat activism on blast, a persona that could wake the dead, this is where the plot thickens. By 2021, she's not just preaching anymore, she's spiraling almost out of control like a Canadian Kanye West. This is where the chaos unleashed, where Marissa goes from a loudmouth legend to a walking, talking dumpster on fire. With her service worker tantrums that did nothing to help anyone, to her dating flops, to her sending death threats and wishes that eventually tank her account, it's a mess, and we're wading right in. Buckle up, this is where the cracks turn into craters. Let's start with the service worker saga, because if Marissa is a warrior for fat rights, she's also a straight-up Karen in the activist drag. So sometime in the summer of 2021, she's at Tim Hortons, her holy grail, judging by how often she name drops it, and something's off. She claims that she's a depressed person that chooses to get off her bed and take her daily walk down to her local Tim Hortons, hoping to get food from there, as opposed to making some herself in her own house. And on getting there, she realizes that they probably closed, or that they ran out of food for that day, and she loses it, saying that it's a very frustrating experience.
Daily walk to Tim Hortons to get food, and I make it in time, plenty of time before they close, yet they're not serving food anymore. Do you understand how frustrating that is?
Screaming slurs to her followers in the video she recorded, and to anyone that cares enough to listen, dropping F-bombs like it's World War II all over again, even going as far as saying F you to Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. She's pissed, really pissed. She's yelling at some poor cashier and filming it like it's her Oscar reel. I deserve better, she howls at the cashier, and the comment section explodes, half cheering for her standing up, while the other half is calling her entitled. Not to give an early spoiler, but from what is seen, it really seems the latter is true, because this incident happened just after the pandemic started to ease off and life was slowly returning to normal. So of course there are still some activities that have not returned to full operating capacities. And she mentions it herself that this was like a daily routine for her when she said a daily walk to Tim Hortons. So she's been coming down there every day, or at least very regularly, and she must have gotten the food she wanted on those days. On the one day that she doesn't get the food, it's now a problem that everyone should care about. That just shows how obnoxious some influencers can be, and it's now giving a Karen vibe.
As a depressed person who doesn't want to make food, I had more energy to get up, to go outside, to go for a walk, to get food because I couldn't make any. And then the Tim Hortons that I go to literally is not selling food. You bet I said you to the guy and left. I hate this pandemic and I hate people. Holy you, Trudeau. Doug. Everybody.
This isn't a one-off occurrence even. She's got a whole playlist of these meltdowns, and it's a vibe shift nobody really asked for. Next up is her at Canadian Tire. Yup, the hardware store. She's losing it over a no backpacks policy, claiming it's a personal attack on her size. Like, how? So she goes to the Canadian hardware store in need of a new bicycle seat as her previous one was broken. At the door, she's told that she could not be allowed in due to a store policy, and she is outraged again.
People are dumb. So after biking all the way to Canadian Tire to get a new seat for my bike because it's broken, they won't allow me in the store because I have a backpack. And they want me to leave my backpack and my belongings at the front. How am I supposed to buy stuff if I don't have my purse on me? Like, what are these dumb rules? Do people not realize that a lot of women do not wear purses anymore? Especially when you're riding a bicycle? I can't wear a purse when I'm riding a bike. That's why I have a backpack, because it fits everything that I need. Like, am I supposed to go in the store and hold everything that's not in my backpack? I actually might do that. Just take everything out of my backpack and walk in with my backpack empty. They can have that, and I'll just hold all my items and be an asshole? Probably. Why do people have these dumb rules? What is so bad about having a backpack? What is so bad about a woman having a backpack?
We can't say for sure if Marissa is just playing dumb or if she actually is dumb, because she's acting like it's a conspiracy and not a rule that is meant to help the store curb shoplifting, especially as she knows fully well that they do not have security at the entrance, as she so conveniently admits in the caption of the video. So all that they have in place to stop theft is the backpack rule, which is at most a minor inconvenience for all other customers. But Marissa, she's stomping around, camera wobbling in hand, telling her followers that the store is trash. F this place. And it's peak Marissa, entitlement dressed up as activism. After refusing to drop her bag, she decided to go to a Walmart to get the bicycle seat that she wanted, but they didn't have it there. So she has to go back to Canadian Tires, the store that she just lambasted minutes ago. But before she goes in, she drops another video update.
Okay, so since I cannot wear my backpack into Canadian Tire and Walmart does not have bike seats, I'm gonna have to go back in. My question is, if I put my backpack under my shirt and in my pants, I need you to let me know if like the fatness coincides with like my own fatness. Yeah, 1 sec. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Is it too lopsided? Am I gonna need to take my water bottle out and hold that? That's what it looks like from the side. So does it combine with my other fatness, or do I just look like I have a backpack under my shirt?
Now it just feels like she's trolling, because from her account of things, no one really said anything about her being fat. The reason she was denied entry was because she refused to put down her backpack. Now deciding to hide the said backpack under your shirt in hopes that it would not be noticed by the staff is just insane. Or maybe she was hoping to get the bike seat without having to pay. In essence, her logic doesn't have any signs of reasoning in line with it. Especially, she could have easily put down the backpack, brought out her purse, and then go get what she wants. But she has somehow turned this into an activist moment for herself, branding it as her fighting institutionalized fat phobia. Well, she's not wrong that fat folks get judged. That is one aspect that the majority can agree on. Hate stares at stores are real, but turning a minimum wage worker into her punching bag for a store rule that they didn't set, that's not the flex she thinks it is. But the fans lap it up, saying she is so real for standing up against institutionalized fat phobia. But the eye rolls are piling up. This isn't advocacy, it's a tantrum with Wi-Fi. Now let's talk about her dating life, because Marissa's bedroom flexes are a soap opera on steroids. and she has made sure that it's all our business to know about the ins and outs of her bedroom activities by being very public with it, whether it's true or not. Early 2022, she's bragging on TikTok about how she had been with 4 different guys in the past week, and that 2 guys were already lined up for the week to come. Basically blasting to her haters that fat girls get it too. And it's seriously a weird victory lap, like she's dunking on every imaginary troll who called her undesirable. Fair play to her though, smash those stereotypes, but then she flips the script. Same breath, she's ranting about a dude from Bumble who ghosted her.
Who knows my worth, knows how I should and deserve to be treated, and how I don't take from anyone. He asked me to hang out. That means that he needs to initiate the day of type of thing, you know? And he didn't. It was like 2:30 and he still did not say anything about hanging out that evening. Now, with that said, that means that I'm not going to sit around. So when he asked me, what's up? I said, oh, I'm sanding some jewelry and watching TV. He's like, oh, cool. He's like, how about you? He's like, not much. I'm like, okay, cool. So then it's like 7, 8-ish, and I send him this lovely message of me setting my boundaries, not being rude at all, but letting him know that the way he was treating the whole situation.
Wild. So she starts by saying that she is a strong, independent woman that knows her worth, and that if a guy asks to meet her, he has to initiate the meeting. Which sounds fair since the guy is the one trying to meet her, and by 2:30 on the said day of the meet, she had heard nothing from him. So she just went about her day as usual, polishing some jewelry and watching TV, when he texts her and says, what's up? But even after that exchange, she still did not get any confirmation of their plans together that day. So by 7, 8 p.m. that day, she sends a message to the guy setting her boundaries and telling him how she felt about the entire interaction.
So I said, I thought we were hanging out today, LOL. So he didn't answer that, so I said this. I'm not one to wait around all day for a guy, so I'm no longer available to hang out tonight as you never clarified or confirmed anything yet. And now here's where I state my boundary. If there's a next time, I'm going to need things to be a little bit more concrete. Example, a guaranteed time, not just a general time frame because my time is valuable and I don't appreciate it being wasted. Because essentially you did waste my time. I'm not mad, just stating my boundaries, so if you can respect them, then cool, and if not, then oh well for you. So I sent that last night. I wake up, he read it, but didn't say anything. So I type, nothing? Not even 2 minutes later, he deletes me. Aww. Poor little boy child who doesn't know how to handle an independent woman who knows her worth.
So she basically told him that she would not waste her time waiting around for a man, so she was no longer free to hang that night. And she sets her boundaries by telling him that if there would be future arrangements, he has to confirm plans with her beforehand with more concrete details, like time and place, or not to make plans at all, which is really sounding more like an ultimatum and less like setting healthy boundaries. Well, long story short, he doesn't, and he instead deletes her as a friend, and suddenly she's the victim again, calling him a poor little child who doesn't know how to handle a strong, independent woman who knows her worth. Now, you would be excused if you thought that the drama ended there, but you would be so wrong, because it didn't. She went further after he blocked her on Snapchat to text him on Bumble, doubling down on her defense that he initiated the meeting, should have just followed up, like that is a duty that the natural order of things assigned to men, or that she couldn't have sent out a simple text to get his attention and then confirm the details.
I messaged this on Bumble. I don't get it. You wanted to hang out with me. We chatted well and we had plans. We didn't end up hanging out because you didn't initiate the plans that we had had. So I set a boundary because I know my worth, and then you blocked me? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, buddy, but seriously, make it make sense. And he has since unmatched me. Ladies, know your worth. Stand up for yourself.
Also adding that she did not feel so great about being blocked by this one guy when she had bragged about juggling 4 dudes. Now one's a tragedy. Make it make sense. This Bumble saga's a gold mine. She posts the whole thing, screenshots with her thoughts with her signature smug look. The works. Sure, she deserves respect. Sure, boundaries matter. But she's acting like he's a war criminal for not texting back. Then the kicker, she's almost simultaneously out here boasting about her active bedroom life, multiple partners, no shame, all to prove a point. But when it flops, it's everyone else's fault. Dating's hard when you're fat, she moans, and yet can be. But this ain't that. It's Marissa demanding the world bends to her will, then crying when it doesn't. just like when she said she was with 4 different guys in a week. If you're a right-thinking person, it's expected to face some backlash after sharing such details about one's life. You can be expected to be slut-shamed, bantered, and get all sorts of negative comments because everyone in the world has different sets of morals guiding them. Marissa even tried to be ahead of the critics by saying that these men were not one-night stands. Instead, she had relations with them. She also adds that she's been with each of them at least 5 times prior, proving that it's indeed not one-night stands. Her fans are still eating it up. She's so honest. But the skeptics, they're clocking the hypocrisy a mile away. But the Bumble drama still doesn't end there. On a separate occasion, another guy texts her on Bumble and she responds, but she is quickly offended by his second text where he asks her for a Snapchat handle, saying that if a man that's over 25 is trying to talk to her, that he would have to text her.
Why are men so stupid? Like, as I'm swiping on Bumble, this one guy, like, the second thing that he says to me is, do you have Snapchat? And it's like, yeah, I have Snapchat, but I don't use it to entertain men. Because if you want to talk to me and you're over 25 years old...
In this video, she says that she doesn't entertain men on her Snapchat. But we know, thanks to her showing and telling us, that she does in fact text men on Snapchat. If you recap the details from a few minutes ago, you would clearly see that the guy that she was mad at for not confirming a hangout with was texting her on Snapchat. So how come it's a problem now and it wasn't a problem back then? This just shows you how easily Marissa shifts the goalposts to her convenience. What was a problem yesterday might not be one today, and what was accepted today might not be accepted tomorrow. These are the crazy terms that Marissa has set in her life, and it's no wonder that she is quite bitter as a person. We've heard Marissa talk a lot about boundaries this, boundaries that, consent this, consent that. But what does she actually know about boundaries and consent? Well, let's see.
Like to clarify that me setting a boundary for my TikTok page does not mean I'm aggressive. It literally means that I know my worth and that I know how I want to be treated on this app. And it means that I know how I don't want to be treated on this app, which is like shit. And if you think that that is an aggressive thing to do, then you have an issue with the boundary that I've set. That's a you problem, not a me problem. So if I don't want to be criticized for eating food, including grilled lettuce, I have every right to say that I don't want to be judged for that. So then when you do judge me on that, I'm going to call you out because you are crossing a boundary that I have set. It's not that difficult, people. It's not that difficult to let people eat what they want.
So in this video, she's going on and on about how she wants and doesn't want to be treated on the app, while also telling viewers what they can and can't criticize her for. Is that not wonderful? You put up your content by your own choice on a public platform like TikTok, and you somehow want to also dictate and control people's comments and reactions to the stuff that you put up on said platform? That is simply not possible and just delusional. If she wanted more control on the comments and reactions that she got, the ideal thing would be for her to create a private profile where she can control and manage who gets to see her content, who follows her, and all that. But since she's opted to keep her profile public, she would just have to accept that some people are gonna be rude, and there really isn't much she can do about it.
How they want. It's not that difficult to not say anything. It's called keep scrolling for a reason. I am sick and tired of getting judged for everything that I do. It's annoying and it's exhausting. Hence why I have set boundaries to avoid the exhaustion that you guys place on me sometimes. So if you think that me setting a boundary and not wanting to be judged is aggressive, then that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
Another thing that she has absolutely no problem with is the positive comments, so she can definitely take the good and the bad together, especially since she creates and sells art doodles and jewelries, and again has absolutely no problem with the good comments that she gets from customers and followers alike. But as soon as your comment is not something that she likes, you have crossed her boundary. Now, her takes on consent are somehow even more ridiculous, and the encounter that we would be highlighting is one that she had with a nurse. So the drama started when somebody left a comment on one of her posts educating the rest of the audience about fatty foods, and Marissa immediately took offense and made a video saying that she did not consent to receiving unsolicited advice, and the user tried to make sure that Marissa knew that it was coming from a verified source, a literal healthcare professional. But she didn't care. She kept going on about how she did not consent to being advised and a whole lot of other nonsense.
Comprehend that? Let's cover it, okay? So, I never asked for your opinion on my body. Meaning, if you give it to me, it's harassment, okay? Because I never consented to you giving me health advice. Meaning, when you do, it's unwanted, not needed, not wanted, and I never said yes to it. So, don't do it and stop crossing people's boundaries, especially if you're a nurse. Me saying no, I don't want your unsolicited health advice is me saying no. And then you ignoring that and then proceeding to give me the unsolicited health advice that I don't want anyway? Yeah, that's harassment. So don't do it. And
So she simply explains that she didn't ask for the nurse's opinion on her body and that her getting health advice is harassment. Yes. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly did the nurse say that would cause Marissa to get so upset and trivialize a problem like sexual assault and harassment that has plagued millions, if not hundreds of millions of girls and women worldwide? Well, it's quite simple. The nurse wasn't even talking about fat women nor anyone's fat body. She was literally talking about fatty foods. But again, as we've seen many times with Marissa, her insecurities of being fat react first and take precedence before her brains can come into play. After this argument with the nurse, as well as a number of other smaller spats that she had with other users in her comments section, people now started to question Marissa about her tone and mode of response to her audience, pointing out how condescending and insulting she's been, how she takes everything said to her that is not a compliment as an attack, and how she never accepts whatever she's being told, even when it's the truth. And her response? Well, let's say it's definitely on brand.
Okay, so one thing that I just find really funny and just stupid at the same time is when people comment on my video something along the lines of, I really supported you until you said this, or I really supported you, but I don't like what you're saying, so now I'm not gonna support you. Cool. Guess what? Newsflash, I do not give two if you support me or not. By all means, I am really happy that I do have the supporters and followers that I do. But if for some reason you wake up one day and you don't like the fact that I talk about fat oppression, or you don't like the fact that I want all fat bodies to be treated equally, or if you don't like that I'm advocating for basic human rights of fat people, and you don't want to support me because I'm calling that out, or you don't want to support me because I'm addressing thin privilege, guess what? You can leave, and you don't need to announce your departure because I don't give two. This space is not for you if you don't like that.
Her response to people saying that she's rude and condescending is probably her rudest video yet. She literally says if you don't like her content about fat phobia and making sure that all fat people get treated equally as others, then you can leave and stop following her. But that isn't even the point of anything that was pointed out to her. In fact, under this same video she posted insulting all of her followers, one user comments that she really enjoys Marissa's content and looks forward to it daily, but she wishes that Marissa would be a little less condescending, which is still in line with what she said to her before she recorded that video. And to that comment, Marissa responds saying, I also don't have to be nice and pleasant all the time. I'm allowed to think others are stupid, and I'm allowed to show emotions. Brilliant response, just brilliant. She has said this now. But when her viewers leave a negative comment on her post or just a comment that she doesn't like, she classifies it as an assault. And when a certified medical practitioner says fatty foods are bad, a statement that is inherently true, she claims that it is harassment by giving her advice that she did not consent to. And now she's saying that she's allowed to think others are stupid and is also allowed to show emotions. She has suddenly stripped off the same rights and privileges she gave to herself from these other people. There's no way to win or to get across to people like this. They're all too self-indulged to see things from other people's perspectives, and they can't see their wrongdoings, and even when they admit to wrong deeds, they always make sure that it's somehow justified. And that is what Marissa tried to do with this next video.
Marissa, you pretend to be such a good person. And it's where the have I ever pretended? I know I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. I can be a lot of the times, and I am okay with that. Because I accept myself, and I don't feel bad about that. Because in my opinion, when I'm an asshole, it's warranted. it's deserved. Like, I don't go out of my way and just say f off to everybody. I say f off to the people who cross my boundaries or who are dicks to me and who don't respect me or harass me or bully me or whatnot. But sometimes I can be, and I'm well aware of that, and I'm okay with it. Because I don't think someone can be good, like a good person, 100% of the time. I don't think that's realistic. I think I'm a kind person a lot of the times, but I can be a dick to those people.
She's not apologizing to her users for her crass and unnecessarily rude comments. She's not even acknowledging her vile actions. Instead, she's telling us just how much of an a-hole she is. Wild! Again, with this smug look on her face, she's saying that she doesn't give an F, that she's never said that she was a good person. What a way to own up to your actions and take accountability for them. She goes on saying that she's never been rude to someone first, and she's only rude to people that are rude to her. Now, that's a statement that we know not to be true. It's in fact a blatant lie. She was rude to the attendant at Tim Hortons. She was rude to the cashier at the hardware store when she tried to buy a bicycle seat. She was even rude to Trudeau when she dropped him an unsolicited F-bomb while ranting after she couldn't get food. So she's not just a rude and deluded person, she's also a liar and gaslighter. And her saying nobody can be nice all the time, yeah, that's true, but the comment specifically asked her to be a little less condescending, not even stop it entirely. For her, being nice 1 or 2% of the time would be a great improvement, and that speaks volumes about the kind of person she really is. It still didn't end there. She makes another video, this time calling out people that try to address her speaking tone, telling her to change it.
And you tell me to correct it, or to change it, or to worry about it because I'll be coming off as this, or I'll be coming off as that. How have you not known by now, or learned by now, that I do not give two f***s and I don't want you tone policing me? Because telling me how to talk and in what tone to talk in is tone policing. And telling me that
this video further cements the fact that Marissa can't see anything wrong in all she does. She doesn't even bat an eye in hesitation before she proceeds in the adjusted sarcastic tone defending herself. If you ask me to adjust my tone, that's tone policing, and I do not appreciate that, she said.
And you tell me to correct it, or to change it, or to worry about it because I'll be coming off as this, or I'll be coming off as that. How have you not known by now, or learned by now, that I do not give two f***s and I don't want you tone policing me? Because telling me how to talk and in what tone to talk in is tone policing. And telling me that
she later adds that she does not want a performative tone, even though she was still using that sarcastic and condescending tone that brought us here in the first place. She also adds that she's mad at people for using her negative tone as an excuse to associate her with negativity. I mean, you can't blame them, now can you? There's a reason why we have a saying that says most of our communications is tonal and less about the words that we actually say. But she's simply saying that if you equate her rude tone to her being rude, that's your problem. But the reality is it's not. If anything, it's really her problem, because her tone is probably one of the reasons why her channel has been dying since it peaked in 2021. It's something that has been complained about various times in her comments section. And the numbers back it up too, as she had over 4 million likes in her first year on TikTok, but could only manage 1.5 million in her second year. That's like a 60% drop in interactions in just a year. But the tone is not her problem, it's ours. Another possible reason why she's bleeding followers by the day is because of her excessive victimization of herself. Marissa firmly believes that everything bad that happens to her is happening to her because she's fat.
Another week and when I did not do anything except exist in my fat body and not want to be harassed by bullies. So please, can you please email TikTok the link?
That's a video of Marissa after her account was banned, and she's on another one begging her followers to email TikTok to reinstate her account. The same followers she said she didn't care about. And while she's doing that, her reason for why she was banned is that she was existing in her fat body. Yeah, TikTok hates fat people too, but somehow they keep targeting you and only you. Why? And this is not a one-time thing, as it's actually happened a number of times.
Wait, stop scrolling! My account just got banned and I need your help to get it back!
Hi guys, I hate to be having to make this video again, but as you know, I have been blocked from posting on my main account for 2 weeks now. I was supposed to be able to post again tonight, and I went to go look just now. I got another notification saying that I can't post until the 19th, and then another one shortly after saying the 21st. This is without any violation. That's literally almost 4 weeks total. I haven't posted in 2 weeks. How the am I getting banned from posting when I am not even posting anymore? Who of my followers is reporting me still? This is pathetic, it's discrimination, it's oppression, and it's silencing marginalized bodies.
She's been banned more than a few times, and every time she gets banned, she cries that she's a victim of fat phobia, that they're trying to silence the voice of a fat woman, and that she was banned for existing in a fat body, all of which is simply not true. All her victim mentality has cost her a lot in terms of real-life relationships, as she admits to having very few of them, if any.
I wish I was more friends. I was better friends with more people on TikTok. And then I think that a lot, okay? And then TikTok drama happens. And it's like, I will never have that problem at the moment because I don't talk to anyone from TikTok that much to have that problem.
You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand why she doesn't have many friends. Simply judging on her internet personality, would you want to be friends with someone like that? It would most likely be a no. And the fact that she makes videos insulting and condescending those that are thought to be her fans does not help matters. She later made a video saying that she used to have friends from childhood that suddenly cut her off out of nowhere, even though they were there for her when they helped her through her mental health struggles. And when she was asked why they cut her off, if it was because she was fat, she said they were both thin and they didn't support her TikTok career. Victim mentality. We see it play again. She is insinuating that her childhood friends cut her off because she's fat, not because of her obvious deluded nature, not because they probably felt drained from helping her needy ass all the time. It's none of those reasons. Instead, it's because they were thin and she's fat. It's sad to see someone erode their personality so much that they reduce themselves to being described by their insecurities. Really sad. But as much as there's a gaping lack of real-life human interactions in her life, there is one person that has been a constant since Maria was born, and that person is her mother. Her mother has been a very prominent figure in her life, and even in her TikTok videos. And some of her mother's actions there, and also on Twitter, kind of explain some of Marissa's actions as an adult. To see the entire scope of events, we have to step back a little.
With this whole scenario, yeah, every single person who has ever bullied me, I don't think that they deserve to live or to breathe. And that includes every single person on ED Twitter who has bullied me or mentioned me or reposted anything of mine. All of you, I personally think you should drop dead. I personally think that you do not deserve to breathe air for bullying another human because of their body size or simply because you just don't like them. Like, that is so pathetic to do that. So, no, call me controversial, but I don't think that you deserve to live if you intentionally harm someone who is already mentally ill. No, I don't think you deserve to live. So if I haven't blocked all of you, go record that, go screen record that, and go post it on Twitter as well. Make me famous. I don't care anymore. But yeah, in all honesty, just for closing, so everybody knows my thoughts, I think they're all pieces of shit. They don't deserve to live. And in Marissa land, bullies would be sent to an island with this.
So in this video, Marissa is fed up about bullying and decides the best thing to do is address her bullies. Well, not just her current bullies, but everyone that has ever bullied her in the past. And she says that she doesn't think that they deserve to live. She adds that she'd rather they all dropped dead, saying bullies don't deserve to live and that they should be sent to an island, Marissa's island, where they'll be left with serial killers and rapists. Now that's a very insane thing to say, especially for someone like Marissa, because what counts as bullying for someone that clearly says she was assaulted by a nurse that commented about fatty foods were bad, or someone that called it systemic oppression when her TikTok account was suspended for vile comments like in this video. She even called it tone policing, when she was advised about her rude and awfully sarcastic tone, and it was institutionalized fat phobia when they wouldn't let her come into a hardware store with her bag on. So what counts as bullying for this deluded narcissist that thinks the world should revolve around her? Hell, it would if only she was big enough. So it's very understandable when social media went berserk after that video dropped. People started mass reporting her account, and before you know it, she was banned on TikTok yet again. Then the drama now moved to Twitter, that is modern day X, and she was getting really bullied on the platform. Enter Mama Matthews as this train wreck becomes a family affair. Her mom's on Twitter, claws out defending her baby girl. Marissa's marginalized, she tweets, threatening lawsuits to the other teenagers trolling and making fun of her baby girl. It's a wild scene. If you scroll her feed, it's all my daughter this, my daughter that. My daughter's a saint. You're the problem. Now, if this almost sounds familiar, it's because you know Marissa. It's from her playbook. Never apologize, always attack. But when the ban sticks, she's on a backup account, and the vibe's shifting. Followers are peeling off, tired of the noise. She's still yelling, blaming fat phobia for her demise. But the cracks are gaping now. The comeback isn't happening. Instead, it's a collapse in slow motion.